Peace. Infinite waters diving deep once again. Can I get a hello there? Why am I single? Part 2. It's been a long time coming. We're back. Now, I get a lot of questions about relationships, and people are looking for the perfect partner. They haven't found them yet. And my whole life has been single in a relationship. Single in a relationship. Single in a relationship. So my life's not perfect. But I have an insight I can share with you on why you may be single. And it starts with realizing it may emanate from a lack of interest. How many of us have time for ourselves? If you don't have time for yourself, how are you going to have time for someone else? And relationships, it's not a joke. It requires water, sunlight. What am I talking of here? It's like a plant. Constant watering is needed. And many people are not prepared to invest that amount of energy in a relationship. So what happens? When you're single, you want to be in a relationship. When you're in a relationship, you want to be single again. A lack of interest may emanate from past relationships. Many people are bringing old energy into new relationships. Many people are seeing new relationships with old eyes. And a lack of interest is where people say, I don't need anyone. I'm fine, all by myself. In our society, we praise being independent. We praise being self-sufficient. So, why you may be single may emanate from a belief system which says you, and you is all you need. So, the most beautiful woman is right in front of you. The most handsome man for you is right in front of you. But nah, you're not interested because, once again, we may be studying, we may be so focused on our purpose, our goal, our life mission, that we simply don't have time for a committed relationship. That's one reason. Another way to look at it is that many people enjoy being single. I was in a relationship, then I was single. Then I went back into a relationship, then I was single. And back and forth, like we're playing tennis here. I enjoyed being single for a very long time. Why? Because it offered a freedom like no other. A freedom where someone wasn't always nagging you, complaining. Of course, relationships are filled with love, but at the same time, Many of these 3D relationships are built on possession, what I call the Coca-Cola relationship. The water relationship is where we can hold the space. We can encourage someone to become their greatest version without trying to change who they are. Look, their own mother didn't manage to change them. What makes you think you can? Only people can change themselves. That's what I've seen. But it is wonderful to see how some people are single, and guess what? You would never know it, because they have this connection to themselves, which is like they're married to themselves. Because the greatest relationship you can have is with yourself. So many people who are single, it goes on to the third point, may not be ready as well. They are not ready to give up that kind of freedom. And what happens when you are single? You start to reflect. You start to think of love more than ever. And you realize how beautiful it is to have the love connection in full effect. When I was single for a long time, what was I doing? I was working on myself. And that is something to be embraced. Being single is not negative. In fact, it can be the most uplifting experience in the world, because now we are preparing ourselves to meet our reflection. And that takes time, because to have it all, you have to be it all. Some people say, I want the most attractive woman in the world that does everything I want. Isn't that something? Some people say, I want the most wonderful man that does everything I want. But are you going to do everything they want? That's the question. Many of us, we have this checklist. And because of that, what happens? We begin to miss out on certain opportunities and encounters because we are thinking too much of the perfect mate. And I've seen along my journey, nobody is perfect at all. Because when you're in a relationship and you're living with someone, look at it this way. Your own brother, your own sister, you still have arguments, even with your parents. So a relationship is no different. It is the good, the bad, and the ugly. So therefore, many times we are actually working on ourselves to develop this strength so that once we get in a relationship, we won't spend all our time arguing. Because the relationships I've been in, as I'm evolving, they are focused towards energy generating states for all of us. Because a lot of us, we always focus on what isn't working in the relationship. The power of a water relationship is where two people or more, if you're in an open relationship, see the power of focusing on what is working. So as soon as they wake up, they don't start screaming in each other's ear. They start complimenting each other and seeing the beauty in each other and being thankful that that person is in their life. In essence, they exercise gratitude consciousness. So many times in what I call the training ground, we are cultivating those qualities within ourselves. So when we see someone and we're with them, we can share what we have cultivated within ourselves. The fourth thing to look at is what I call the wait. That is why many people are single, because we're waiting, and we let people go by. We become very specific about what we want and desire, and this is super powerful. But at the same time, there are seasons, and what happens when you feel it's always going to be there? You may have to wait another 100 years. So I say start to feel instead of think about what you want. Because many of the things we are told that is attractive in somebody else is coming from an external place. How much money they have, their social status. But if you start to feel in your heart space, it's going to serve you better. Many of us, we grew up on cartoons about the perfect mate. So a lot of us are waiting for a princess, or you're waiting for a prince. Do they exist? Oh yeah, they exist, but just not like how you envision them. It's gonna be a prince who also has maybe a grumpy attitude. It's gonna be a princess who also does things that occasionally annoys you. Because what I realize is that a lot of us, we fail to see that in relationships, it is like two energies merging together. And because of that, we have to become very clear that it is not our job to start changing people. It is not our job to start making people anything other than what they truly are. It is only our job to hold the space and to allow and to realize that we are choosing to be in this relationship. And therefore, once you can both give each other that freedom, what happens? The relationship blossoms to the most wonderful. It turns into the most wonderful flower because of space, because of respect, and because of transparency. And another insight is what I call the married life. Some people are single because they are already married. Now that's a paradox right there. They have reintegrated the feminine and the masculine principles within themselves, and now they have stepped into the complete being they are. And that is wonderful. I'm happy for you. And I feel that that is what we should all be striving for anyway, because when you become whole, once again, now you meet another whole, and now you have a relationship. Relationships don't happen when you don't love yourself and you're waiting for the other person just to love you. Because no matter how much love they give you, it's never enough. But once you start to cultivate that self-love, and the other person has self-love, then it's over. Game over. Your relationship becomes stronger. Why? Because you have cultivated your inner strength and the other person has cultivated their inner strength. That's why they don't blame you for their internal condition. And that's the secret to long-lasting relationships. It's not about what you can take from the other person. It's more about what you can give, what you can share, and how you can assist this person in becoming their greatest version. So there you have it. Get ready for part 3 soon. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace.